Hey, what's good, y'all? EJ here, and today I wanted to go ahead and give my 2 weeks impressions on Nikke. This game really surprised me from someone where I guess you could say my real initial impressions when I first saw it is like one of those games that you find on like the sleazy type websites where they advertise like, Now, this isn't going to be an in-depth review. I'm just going to go ahead and give my thoughts on things I find to be pretty important when it comes to gacha games. For example, story and characters, graphics, art style, and of course gameplay too, man. And give my final thoughts too on if I will continue to play this game in the future. Now, before we get into the game itself, I feel like it's pretty important to talk about something that might make or break the game for certain individuals. And I'm gonna say that's the fan service. Is this game truly a hornball of a game? And the answer is truly yes, it is. But me personally, I'm somebody who's not a huge fan of fan service. I would hardly say I dislike it, but I don't like it to be a focus of the game. I don't like it to be a game's personality. Nikke, I mean, it kind of is. It kind of is, but at the same time, as I'm going to tell you about later, it actually is kind of worth it if you can deal with it. Now, if you love yourself some fan service, this is going to be an absolute game that you might want to try, because to me, it's really top tier in a lot of departments. Now, if you're just in the middle like me, where it's like you're not against it, but at the same time you prefer not to be a focus. It really depends, and if you hate it, well, then this is definitely not going to be the game for you, because yeah, the game, it has it everywhere. It has it in the main characters. It's not just the rare units that have these lovely costumes, we can say. Now, for me personally, I would say it is cringe sometimes, but it's really not that bad. There are characters, and I would say pretty much most characters have a little bit of sexiness about them, but at the same time, some characters are comical about it with the levels of hornballness, and I will say some are cleverly designed where they do have appeal, but at the same time they actually do look kind of badass, and that is something I'm perfectly fine with. But with all that said, let me tell you, Nikke hits a little bit different.
You must be happy that you can still get along with Anise and Neon. I'm like a stranger to Mihara now. You must be happy that you're alive. Mihara is dead.
Let's go ahead and just get into it, man. Story and characters. One of the first things that I would say impressed me when it came to Nikke. At first, I was having a little bit of a hard time taking it seriously, but they immediately hit you with well voice acted characters, and the plot is really serious, really somewhat serious, and it's a lot of fun. The dialogue is well written, it's fun, it's funny, and before chapter 1 was out, I actually really cared for this team of characters. You have Rappy, which is a big bottom bitch material, which is literally and figuratively kind of like the serious one, the stern one. She keeps others in line. But in my 10 chapters of playing, there hasn't been like any crazy boundary stepping. Just mostly she's like the unit that really has your back. Unit, friend? Yeah, say friend, yeah.
That was a tough mission.
If it hadn't been for you two, we'd have been in big trouble.
I killed a human on that mission.
Huh?
It was a grenade. Accidents happen all the time during missions. No one holds you accountable, you know that. I know, but as I watched them bleed out with half their body missing, you know what I was thinking? I was irritated that I'd have to write a report.
And this is like a lot of comic relief, man. She's kind of like the bratty one. I will say the dialogue definitely lands with her. I definitely find a lot of her kind of funny. And she adds a lot of personality to the mix, yo. Now, I will say someone's character design, which I absolutely hate, and let me explain why. So, Anise and Rappy, of course, they have their appeal. But for me, Neon's appeal is so forced. Like the whole skirt thing being up is like just so, I don't know, dude. It's like, why though? Like as far as like character design goes, like just why? I will say I kind of hate that aspect of it, but as a character though in the story, once again, I don't think I really dislike too many characters, unless the ones you're supposed to dislike are disliked. I mean, there's that, but beyond that, a lot of the characters are well liked. I mean, I found them really very fun. They all have the personality quirks, and that is something I'll give them a lot of credit on. When it comes to the bonding or friendship level things, which they call attraction. But yeah, they call it attraction, and I gotta say, I actually found these stories to be very good. The bonding stories here, they give some pretty in-depth characters sometimes. Like, yeah, sometimes it's surface level, sometimes it is a lot of fan service, but even, oh my god, I forget her name. Is it Raphael? I'll probably go ahead and show her on screen, but she is this nun-like character design, which you would think is completely innocent, but she is absolutely crazy about you, and she makes that super obvious, and it is actually not that bad, honestly. It's really not that bad, but the thing that surprised me was actually how in-depth and really sad her story is once you go through the bonding stories, and plus they give like 50 gems like each one, which is really good. Yeah, you can really play a lot of these character stories, and as surface level as they may seem, they might be kind of stereotypical in their personality type, but they usually have some pretty in-depth backstories that make you kind of feel for them. Sometimes it's about their anxiety, sometimes it's about just why they act the way they are, and like sometimes it's out of nowhere, just like something mad depressing. Speaking of which too, this game has an unusual amount of depressing ass side stories. The great, the fantastic. Like I read, like my first side story, man, was this Nero character, and you would think, all right, well, how can you take this serious? She's in bra and panties, bro. But no, she had one of the saddest stories in a gacha game I've ever witnessed, bro. Like just listen to this freaking background music. And that's when I was truly surprised. I was like, holy shit, this game actually has a lot of character, and it has a lot of character to the characters. And like I said, it really kind of pulled me in like chapter 1. And plus, a big thing too is, well, not all of it, like the side story, the bonus stories aren't really voice acted, but once again, they're well written, so when you read them, they don't really sound, I don't know, cringy. They don't really sound annoying. And the main story is voice acted, and the main story, like the voice actresses and actors do a wonderful job, and you kind of grow to love even the characters which you think you're not supposed to like. You really kind of grow to like them. And I really found myself grinding this game just so I can go ahead and get deep in the story and see another cutscene, and that's how good it really was. So once again, it's really top tier, man. If you can like just get over the fact of, like I said, if you're not a fan of the fan service, if you can get past it, man, there's a lot of good in this game, and that definitely includes the story. Now let's talk about the gacha for a little bit. I'm not gonna go over it too much. The game is pretty generous when it comes to currency, so I could always like just wish me a couple in a day, which was, it felt kind of nice actually. It really felt nice. Now there is a very bad part about this, and that is the fact that, well, unfortunately there is no pity system for the most part. I mean, there actually is. If you do like, I think 200, it's a 200 limited summons. If you get like 200 tickets, golden tickets, you can go ahead and you can just automatically get the limited unit. So that's, I guess, a pity, but it's kind of crazy. Even with how generous the game is, it is kind of a crazy amount that you have to reach. So there is completely the potential to just get absolutely wrecked and just be completely unlucky. It's unlikely because the chances and rates for this game is actually really good to make up for the fact that they don't have a pity. So it would take you just being extremely unlucky, but if you are extremely unlucky, well, beware, because yeah, you might get stuck, bro. I'm dead serious too. This game heavily relies on power, having the right units in pretty much every game mode. So yeah, if you don't get good luck, you're just, well, fucked. Now let's talk a little bit about gameplay. Now for me personally though, gameplay for Nikke has been extremely fun. I actually really found myself really enjoying like the shoot 'em lobby type of experience. And it might look very basic on a just watching type level, but let me go ahead and show you a couple bosses. And also too, while you're at it, listen to this music. The audio in this game is absolutely supreme.
Might, everything's the perfect. Lasting to me. Fire straight ahead. Together. Cover. Reloading. Everything's perfect. Lasting to know. Everything's perfect. Lasting to know. Naughty little light. Cover. I shall grant you victory, Your Grace.
Now, I will say you can probably like auto battle 90% of the campaign, and that's perfectly fine. But it is a lot of fun, especially on PC with mouse and keyboard even. The phone works okay, mobile devices is fine, but I can mostly talk about just the PC experience. It's a rare occasion I did anything important on my phone. I usually would just wait until I did on my PC. But there are a lot of game modes that require you to basically take control and make sure you hit the weak spots of the bosses, or make sure you kill certain spots before they trigger an event, which is more than likely going to wipe your team. And that's something in general I wanted to go ahead and give credit for. The game is actually very challenging through and through. It doesn't take long for the game to pick up and challenge if you're not upgrading your units. And the struggle can be fun. It can be tons of fun, just finding a way to grind some extra resources to upgrade your units so you can just skim past the next couple of missions or get past this extremely difficult boss fight. Yeah, I found it to be a lot of fun. Not always fair. Sometimes it did feel like I was just plain old defeated and restricted by my power level, but at the same time, it drove me to go ahead and invest into different game modes and actually try to get every little bit of resource I can so I could get good enough so I could progress. And what I personally did was I turned off all my aim assist and I played it just raw mouse and keyboard, and yeah, I find it to be a lot of fun and 100% worth trying at the very least. Now, I will say I did play Snowbreak recently, and I cannot wait to drop a video about that one because the gameplay on that one is supreme. I'm not gonna go ahead and waste time comparing Nikke's gameplay to a newer gacha game or whatever else. As far as it stands by itself, Nikke has absolutely fantastic gameplay. It can be very engaging, it can be just an auto battle, it really depends on what you want to get done for the day. And I would say they don't make you do an abundance of matches where you have to go ahead and just play manually. Usually you can go ahead and play it manually once and then quick battle whatever your last results are, which is very useful. And those are my thoughts when it comes to Nikke. If you can't tell, it's mostly just positive, yo. I really don't have much negative to say that's not completely subjective. For me personally, this is going to be a game that I would say stays in my staple of gacha games. It doesn't take long to get everything done, and when I do want to engage, it is very fun to engage in it. I guess the only caveat is, will I continue to make content about it? I have no idea, honestly. It depends. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll make a second channel and like do just all things gacha. And maybe then we can go ahead and just throw like Nikke on there. But yeah, because I will once again continue to play it because I just think it's a really fun game. But that's it for me, man. After watching this, I have a question. If you've played Nikke or even thought of playing Nikke, what are your thoughts towards this game? Is it one of your favorites? Do you find yourself getting kind of tired of it? Or are you interested in playing it or giving it a shot after watching this video? Thanks for watching. Leave a like. See ya.
Not doing it right, so... Calm down. Oh! May victory be ours. You're mine! What? Shoot!